So I have this big piece of paper up on my studio wall, and it's a Friday, so I also have my mentorship happening in the background. But I love just having a piece of work up that I can play around on with no expectations, especially when I'm teaching. It's good to just be showing different things and keeping myself busy as I'm also helping them out. So with this piece of paper, what I want you to know is I don't have any intention of it necessarily finishing, necessarily getting anywhere. I love having these big pieces up to just loosen up, to try different brushes, to try different color combinations. You'll see me going a little bit back and forward between pinks and oranges and darker colors, and then bringing in some lighter muddy colors. And it really is me just playing to find, I guess, maybe new directions, new things that I want to follow more, covering up things to see how much I can cover up before I lose any kind of composition that I might be looking at. But really it's about loosening up. And I suggest that you do this, that you don't just paint pieces to finish, that you paint a lot to explore. So 100% this is exploratory for me. And I'm having fun. I mean, I love putting paint onto canvas, onto paper. I love mixing paint. I love just seeing what can happen when I loosen up and don't have any thought to where I'm heading. It's joy. It's release. It's almost like a meditation. So I get a lot of my, a lot of moods, the way that I'm feeling at the moment will go into the painting. That's probably why it changes quite a bit day to day. It really is a little bit of therapy in some ways. And I suggest that you really loosen up. What this does is it loosens you up, and it helps you let go of expectation. And for me, expectation is one of those things that just keeps my work from progressing. The less I care about where I'm going, the quicker I actually find my paintings go somewhere. So I'm just trying out different colors. I'm putting some not tan, but more of a coppery tone on at the moment. At some point, even though it is exploratory, I'll bring this color palette into some kind of cohesion. Right now, I'm not at the point of doing that. I'm still trying to experience what I like about it. I'm still trying to find my way to what lights me up about this piece. I often find at some point I'll do something, I'll use some color combination, and it will light me up so much that it really does bring a whole piece together. So even though this might be an exploration that I'm not going to take off the wall and frame, I still do love getting that spark of, oh, this is what it's about. This is what this painting was all about. And I don't need to know that until that moment happens. I hope that makes sense to you. At this point, I'm putting on opaque colors. I'm putting lots of layers down. I'm loving these more muddy colors. And mud for me is, well, it really is a little bit of magic. You might have seen that I'm putting a course out, a free course, which is all about how to deal with mud. I certainly see it in my classes a lot. where the playing becomes frustrating because there's colour after colour after colour put on top of each other, and they just do end up just mud. And this course, this 3-day course, I'm going to be showing how I deal with mud to make it sing in a painting rather than be something that's frustrating. So I'm putting a few more earthy tones on this painting now. I had quite a few bright pieces, so I'm coming back to getting the push and pull happening that you will have seen me do many times, the push between the bright and the light and the darker tones. If you remember when I started this piece, I really did a lot of these types of marks, and now that I'm at this point, I'm bringing a few back because it was something that I really enjoyed, was these almost like writing with a small brush, a small fine brush. Because this piece is up on the wall, I'm not able, or I'm not going to turn it, which I like doing with my canvases so that the strokes that I'm doing go in different directions. So I'm been a little bit thoughtful about which way all my strokes are going. I don't want them to all go the same way, but there is a tendency for that to happen. So if you find yourself doing that, I suggest you turn your work. It's the best way to not get stuck in the mode of painting in only one direction. You want to get the movement, you want to get the excitement that happens when you get lots of different types of marks across a piece. So from those dark small marks, I grab a bigger brush now, and I've put some pinky grey on this brush to clear bits of space, to give myself different negative shapes. If there's too much going on in a piece, I suggest that you give yourself some space by getting quite a light, opaque colour and being quite free with it. Not just painting one big square somewhere, but giving yourself another lot of negative marks on the piece. And as I quite often do, I'll just get another tonal colour. So here I've gone with a little bit more of a beigey tan colour that works nicely with the pink. And now a little bit more of an apricot colour. Still trying to find those happy little surprises in this piece, but also if you look at my arms moving, I'm working fast, I'm playing, and it's just practice. You really need to be putting in the hours. You really need to be using your supplies. I don't think of any of this as wasted time or wasted effort. This is very much an integral part of my practice. Just putting in the time, allowing myself to make mess, allowing myself to cover up and go back and forward and not necessarily need to get anywhere. As I'm looking at this, I really love that bottom right hand area and those chunky colours of tan and yellow and dark brown and pink. As I look back on my work, it gives me ideas of where I might want it to go forward. And there's a push and pull, as always, between those big areas and then the smaller ones. And that's why I do swap between brushes. I don't want all of the areas to be big. If I come in hard over the top, then I want to be able to see some smaller, more interesting, intricate stories underneath. I painted this when my studio doors were open, so there's a little bit more of a sheen happening on the surface of the painting, which makes it a little bit more difficult to see. But it's nice to get that fresh air coming into the studio as I'm painting. And here I'm once again covering over, bringing in green gold, which is one of my favorites. It's not straight green gold. I do mix amongst my palette. So I've probably got all sorts of colours in the green gold, but that's primarily what that colour is that I've come over the top with, and now blending in a bit more of a very, very pale yellow. And a smaller brush just to bring in some little fine strokes. For a painting of this size, I use pots primarily. I do have a palette, a wet palette off to the side, but mostly I'm mixing between pots. I have maybe 7 or 8 on the go, and I mix them together into all kinds of different concoctions. So I'm wondering, if you're looking at this, just wondering what the point of it all is. I've been going and there's lots of interesting things, but I'm not getting anywhere. I can't stress enough how much this helps. I actually have maybe 3 or 4 canvases around me that I'm working on. This particular day I'm not, because I'm also holding my mentorship, but in general I do. So this piece is informing the other works. I might be looking for that spark of a colour combination that I'll then put onto my other pieces, or a particular type of mark that I'm doing with a brush that will then transfer onto another piece. So perhaps when I've finished this one, which I think will take a few more sessions, so bear with me, I will show you the pieces that I worked on at the same time, that I have more of the intention of them being finished and up for sale. Depending on where this one gets to, I might photograph it and use it to maybe use it for a promotion in some way, maybe on some fabric. The bigger the pieces, the easier it is to use in that way, because you can get a much higher res file. But certainly it's nowhere near that stage yet. Here I'm putting on more of a mustard colour, just trying to take the palette somewhere that it hasn't been. Just somewhere where I'm happy to stop and let it dry until I come over it again. So I hope you're enjoying following along on this exploration with me. I hope you'll sign up for my Mud to Magic 3-day free online course, where I'll be going through more and more about what I love about mud and working with it. And please keep following along with this piece and see where I get to.